I think nationality is a very important aspect of integration. It's often seen as, in fact, the crown on the integration process. Immigrants cannot be fully integrated when they are not yet naturalized, although different people also have different views on that between left-wing political parties and right-wing political parties. So parties on the left often see this as the, you could say, a stimulant to integrate, whereas right-wing political parties tend to see this more as the crown on integration, so as the end process of the integration process. I think the research has shown that we have done comparatively in Europe shows that in fact there are many differences between immigrants who naturalize and those who don't naturalize. And there are three important points at least with regard to naturalization and integration. The first point is resident security. You are never as secure in your resident status when you are not naturalized. So states cannot expel their own nationals from their own territory. You always have the right to enter into the territory of your own state. Secondly, employability. We see in our research that naturalized immigrants are much easier to employ, so they find it easier to find a job in terms of not having to apply for a residence permit, for example. They have access to public sector jobs, so they often have higher employment rates and also better types of employment. They have a higher income, a higher occupational status. Thirdly, what we see is that there is also a strong link with what we call political integration. Of course, as a naturalized person, you have the right to vote in national elections. Sometimes immigrants also have the right to vote even when they are not naturalized, but then only in local elections. That means that as long as you are not naturalized, you never have the full opportunity to participate politically, and we see that this also spills over in other political domains, such as political party membership, taking part in demonstrations or manifestations. So in general, we see that naturalized immigrants also are much more active politically in society, and from that perspective, naturalization is also an important part of the integration process. When we move to the origin countries have a very important role to play, because nationality is often seen traditionally as the link between an individual and a state. Traditionally, for a long time, this link was seen as an exclusive link. You can only be a citizen of one state and of one state only. And so the idea of dual citizenship is often seen as very problematic, at least traditionally. But this has changed quite dramatically over the last decades, in the sense that we see much more migration, we see much more marriages between people from different countries, and their children often are also dual citizens because they derive the citizenship from the mother and the father, and then by birth they are dual citizens. For immigrants, this also means that traditionally when they would acquire the citizenship of another country, they often automatically lost the citizenship of the origin country, and this is often seen as an important restriction on naturalization of these immigrants. When you have to make a choose between your citizenship of the old country and of the new country, then many immigrants see that they are very hesitant to naturalize, and we see that therefore origin countries can play a strong role by abolishing these type of restrictive rules, and by in fact allowing their emigrated citizens to acquire the citizenship of another state and at the same time maintain the citizenship of the origin country. This is a very clear trend that we see, particularly since the 1990s. Origin countries, of course, see the importance also economically to maintain the links with their emigrated citizens, for example, with regard to remittances. And so it is not very meaningful for them as well to cut off the link with their emigrated citizens. And from that perspective, dual citizenship becomes more tolerated, although there are still strong difference. There are still about 50, 60 countries in the world where citizens are punished, you could say, when they naturalize abroad by losing their citizenship of origin. So from that perspective, there is still a strong role to play for origin countries in terms of stimulating the naturalization of their emigrated citizens, and thereby also the integration of the immigrant in the destination country.